Another day, another video. In this box we have Bogist C1. The box is 29 kilograms, so I am almost scared to try and release this beast out of this box, because it will be huge. Promise you, it will be big. Few extras. This is my backyard in the night, lit up by the front light of the Bogist C1 Pro. If I turn off that light, this is how much you can actually see. If I turn it back on, it has a decent light for night riding. I like that. Alright, boys and girls, so the very first thing we're gonna do, as we have the fully charged battery, we will do the maximum speed test. As you saw in the footage, the maximum speed I reached was around 40 kilometers per hour, so I turned around and went the same road backwards just to avoid any wind implication or slight slope up or down, and I resulted with 41 kilometers per hour max. So let's talk about the scooter a little bit. First of all, the maximum speed. It's 41 kilometers per hour on GPS. I think it's really good for this scooter. It's actually quite stable on that speed. The suspension is doing okay job on these speeds. As far as the acceleration goes, you can see me starting off the green traffic light, and you can see the cars catching up pretty quickly. So the acceleration is not throwing you off the scooter. It's not like two-wheel drive motor scooters, the most powerful ones, where you need to really hold on. But it's a decent acceleration. It's definitely much faster than the majority of, let's say, standard city scooters like the Xiaomi M365. The suspension is good, it's not great. When I say it good, I think it's good for city riding. You can jump on and off the curbs. It will do that just fine. Just touch the bottom. But if you land from anything bigger than a little curb, you will bottom out. At least I bottom it out being 90 kilograms of weight. So that's why it's not great. So what I mean it's not great, it's not great for off-road riding. I wouldn't take it to big jumps for off-road trails, but for more aggressive city riding, you can just bounce up and down the curbs, little curbs, no problem. If the suspension is just okay, the way this scooter looks is just fantastic. So one thing that I never had on any of my electrical scooters is this pole, because in this pole you can install an adjustable height saddle for a completely different riding experience. It also has a folding mechanism, so you undo this clamp. It still doesn't fall, it has a security function in it. You press on a little kind of a button here. Now it should go. Yep, so now it's locked and loaded. And I think it's important to add that the saddle, it has a suspension system for you to have a more comfortable ride. The folding mechanism of the scooter is actually very good. It has a locking mechanism, so if I lock this down, even if I press down, the scooter won't collapse. If I unlock this button, I just pressed on this one and scooter goes down. You go all the way down and it locks. This is it. Now, if you want to unfold it, you just press it again and push the handlebars all the way up. It locks in place. You apply the security function and this is it. You're ready to ride. Couple more extras that come with the scooter. Simple bell and the plastic phone holder. So the cable management looks neat and clean. Everything is really nice. You can see there is a sealant applied here and a little weather strip around here to make the battery compartment waterproof. Apparently that should do the job. I don't see, as there are no screws from the top, there is literally nowhere the water should enter, so that's well done. Now the battery pack, I don't know, it sits on these foams here, and this sound that I had when riding, I'm now confused because I was sure this would be battery pack or the controller, but I don't see the controller moving at all. It's on the double side tape, and also these foams hold it in place. And the battery, could it do like this, or is there enough space to move like that? I will just probably add a bit more of that foam and see if that helps. All right, so what I'm doing right now, I'm doing the range test. And as you can see, I am seated. This is an absolutely awkward feeling on a two-wheeled electrical scooter. I have never ridden an electrical scooter while seated until this moment, and it feels awkward. Nevertheless, we're gonna try that. So my approach to range test is always the same. I go full speed, max speed mode, and see how far it will get me. So it's not a maximum range test, it's actually minimum range test, because I'm going full speed all the time. It feels a little bit wiggly, so it doesn't feel unstable, but it feels a little bit wiggly. Or I don't know, I'm not sure how I feel around that. My God, it's awkward. It looks like a little mobility scooter, you know? The saddle itself is very soft and very padded. Don't know how to feel about that. I'm used to much harder bike saddles than this. Anyways, by the way, adding a bit of foam next to the battery has reduced the rattling noise from the deck. So I believe that was that, just a little bit more foam and no more extra sounds. I would like to mention the tires. While they are off-roadish kind of looking tires, they are not creating that much noise as on the other electrical scooters with chunky tires. front fender is not doing a perfect job because those fat tires are spraying my pants and the deck of the scooter with dirt while it was pretty dry still here around, but I just can imagine what would happen in a decent rain. Meanwhile, the rear fender looks like it's doing a pretty decent job. Nope, no problems there. Alright, so now my battery shows only 1 bar. The maximum speed has dropped to 33 kilometers per hour, which is, I mean, it's a fantastic speed. Just had to pass that car, and we are 19.1 kilometers range. I reckon we can get to 20 kilometers and still go above 30 kilometers per hour. So this concludes my range test. It's around 20 kilometers, maybe a little bit less, if you go full throttle all the way on the flat roads and seated on the seat. If you ask me, that's pretty impressive. And that's not the only impressive thing. By the time right now, we know that this 500 watt motor, together with almost 14 amp hour 48 volt battery pack, can easily reach speeds above 40 kilometers per hour. By the way, it maintained the speed around 39-40 kilometers per hour throughout my entire range test until we got to like 16-17 kilometers mark. Then it dropped to around 35-36 kilometers per hour, which is still a fantastic speed for such a big scooter. We know that the scooter looks fantastic. It has a really good folding mechanism. It has really good brakes. It has a decent suspension for city riding. It has a chunky grey tires that can take up a beating, a wide deck to place your feet in a variety of the positions you want. It even has a saddle and a phone holder and a bell and wherever else you can imagine. It is also IP64 rated, meaning that you can ride it in the rain and not worry about something getting damaged by water. The headlight works perfectly in the night. And what if I tell you that all of this comes for 500 pounds? That all sounds great, but are there any downsides that you to know about this electrical scooter? And there are some. I was really not impressed when on the first day just took out scooter out of the box and I couldn't go for a ride because I had to disassemble it in parts and fix the handlebar as it was not turning sideways due to someone in the factory overloaded the steering bearings. The second thing, there were foot marks on the deck. There are tiny little scratches everywhere on the scooter. Basically, any part of the scooter you take, you will find little scratches and gaps and things like that everywhere. As I mentioned, the suspension is good, it's not great, because whenever you land from anything bigger than 5 centimeters, I bottom it out and there is a sound that lets me know about it. I think I can bottom out the suspension over these little bumps. Yeah, it bottoms out. I already mentioned the front fender, which is not protecting very well from the elements, and your pants will probably get dirty, especially if you drive with the saddle. One more thing, the deck is pretty low to the ground, which adds riding stability, don't get me wrong, but at the same time your clearance is very small and I ended up hitting curbs here and there. Furthermore, the bolts that hold the cover of the battery compartment are sticking out way too much, and I already scratched some of those bolts just in a couple of days of riding. These bolts need to be replaced, as other little things can be fixed and adjusted. All in all, these downsides are not massive deal-breaking downsides. The scooter is not becoming unusable. It's actually small little things that final touch on the quality of the thing that you buy. You know, when you buy a new car, you expect it to be without scratches. And the same is with me with the electrical scooter. When I buy a new electrical scooter, I expect it to be nearly perfect. But there comes the price. For 600 pounds, you cannot get anything close to these features as this scooter has. it looks cool, it goes fast, and it has all the features that you could think of on an electrical scooter. Furthermore, there is so much more space in the battery compartment if you want to add a bigger battery. You can actually install the second motor if you have a bigger battery as well. What I mean, the upgradability of the scooter is pretty good. And all of that makes the scooter like a tiny shiny gem in 2021's sea of Asian-made electrical scooters. I believe this scooter will challenge the current market and current meta of electrical scooters big time, and we'll see a lot of these rolling in the streets after a year or so. It has a chance of becoming one of the more popular models, or at least this is what I like to think of today. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and if you did, you know what to do. You hit that thumbs up button. If you have any questions or comments, drop all of them below down to the list. I try to reply to as many comments as I can. Thank you very much for your support, and I hope to see you in the next video.
Камера.